Hey everybody, Aaron here from the Cool Guys Nation, and welcome to part 2 of the new Dark Angels Codex review. We're going to be talking about troops and fast attack in this video. So, let's talk about troops. They are exactly the same. Tactical Squad and Scout Squad is the same as the new Ultramarine book. I'm not going to go over it here. I'll put a link to the Ultramarine video. The only thing that's different is instead of chapter tactics, they have the Dark Angel tactic, which is Grim Resolve, and Grim Resolve gives them an Overwatch, and I believe on the bikes it gives them Stubborn. It might also give the troops Stubborn, but it gives them a better Overwatch BS2 instead of BS3, and when you take them, or instead of BS1, and when you take them in the Demi Company, they go from BS1 all the way up to BS3 in Overwatch, which is really great. But other than that, they are exactly the same. So let's move on to fast attack. Raven Wing Bike Squad. 5 points cheaper. It's down to 75. They now say that you can take the bolt pistol or chainsword under war gear instead of putting it into options. That's not really much of a change. Heavy bolter, frag, crack, Space Marine bike, teleport homer, stats are all the same. They do now, of course, have Grim Resolve, which we just went over, which is the BS2 Overwatch. And then they have something called Raven Wing, and that allows them to re-roll failed cover saves. So when they jink and you fail, you get to re-roll. That's pretty awesome. Other than that, in their special weapons list, they now have access to a grav gun, which they didn't have before. And other than that, pretty much the same, except for they no longer have a support squad. The land speeders are just their own fast attack squad, and we'll get to that in a second. Alright, so the Raven Wing Attack Bike Squad. Exactly the same. I don't see any changes from before. It's still 45 points. The stats are all the same. Of course, it has Grim Resolve now, which just assume that everything in the Dark Angels, instead of having chapter tactics, has Grim Resolve, which once again, Stubborn, BS2 in Overwatch, BS3 if it's part of the Demi Company. Bolt pistol, heavy bolter, frag, crack, bike, teleport homer, heavy bolter, multi-melt at 10 extra points. Yeah, it's the same. Okay, next we're going to be looking at the Raven Wing Black Knights, and they are overall 6 point cheaper, but it comes out to 2 points per model. And then again, Grim Resolve and Raven Wing have been added, and there's a few more options in power weapons. So before it said you could only take one of 2 choices. I think it was a sword or a maul, and now you can take any power weapon of the 4, the axe or the lance or whatever you want to give them. The plasma talon's the same, the grenade launcher's the same, just a little bit cheaper, which is fantastic, and more power weapon options. Raven Wing Dark Shroud. Now, I believe that the points are the same at 80 points. I'm actually going to check that really quick because I feel like it might have been cheaper. Nope, 80 points, exactly the same. Stats are the same. Heavy bolter, deep strike. Its special rules are different, and this is one of the things that you have to pay attention to because a lot of the special rules are vastly different, but at first glance it doesn't really appear to be different. So for one, it used to have something called Shroud of Angels, which it pretty much still has. So Shroud of Angels says friendly units within 6 inches of one or more Raven Wing gain the stealth special rule. So this is now under Icon of Old Caliban, which is any unit within 6 inches gains fear and stealth. And the old one used to be +1 assault results. So they got rid of Shroud of Angels. They combined it into Icon of Old Caliban, but they also gave the Raven Wing Dark Shroud Shrouded, which I don't think that it had before. The Raven Wing Dark... No, it does. I'm sorry. The Raven Wing Dark Shroud has the Shrouded special rule in addition friendly units. So this is what I'm saying. Like, they took some stats in these 2 lines and they broke them out and changed them around, and I don't... my back itches. I don't know why they do that. I don't know why you need these new names for rules. Just list the special rules, man. You know, just make it very simple. List the special rules. Don't give them special names. Just list them. So anyways, it is slightly different in that it also gives things fear and units that are within 6 inches of the Dark Shroud when they charge, the enemy cannot fire Overwatch at them. So if you put the Dark Shroud with your Thunderhammer, Storm Shield Terminators, and you know they're making all sorts of cover saves from Shrouded, and then they go into Overwatch, and everybody goes, where'd they go? Can't shoot at them. So that's pretty cool too. Raven Wing Land Speeders. They added anti-grav upwash, which is also in the Ultramarine book, so you can take a look at what that is. Essentially, it gets an extra 6 inches if it moves flat out. Deep Strike, it has the Raven Wing thing, which is reroll failed cover save, so when you jink, you get to roll again if you don't make your jink. Points are the same, stats are the same, but all of the weapons are a little bit cheaper. The Assault Cannon is by far the most. It's been reduced by 10 points. Most everything else has been reduced by 5. The Typhoon Missile Launcher is still the same amount. So very similar to the Ultramarine Land Speeders, except it has this awesome Raven Wing addition. Alright, the Nephilim Jet Fighter. Down by 10 points from 180 to 170. Stats are the same. Twin Link Heavy Bolter. Now, this is a little strange, and I don't know, I keep reading it over and over again because I feel like I'm an idiot. Okay, it used to come with a free twin-linked last cannon, and then for free you could change that to an Avenger Mega Bolter, which is Strength 6, AP 4, Heavy 5. I hope I got that right. Yes! Now it comes free with the Avenger Mega Bolter, and if you want the twin-linked last cannon, you have to pay 5 points. So it really only got a 5-point reduction if you choose to field it with the last cannon, because that's now 5 points when it used to be free. Other than that, it got something called Missile Lock, which allows it to re-roll failed 2 hits with its Black Sword missiles, which is nice because those are one-time use. You have 6 of them, you really want them to hit, at least you get to re-roll if you miss. And it does have BS4, so that's fairly good odds. They took away Hover Strike and just gave it Strafing Run, which makes sense. And then they also added Unrelenting Hunter. When shooting at enemy vehicles, a Nephilim Jet Fighter can choose to treat a weapon destroyed result as an immobilized result, and it had that before. So exactly the same. That's why I didn't write it down. So that's exactly the same, but it did add the Raven Wing, reroll failed jink. Is anybody noticing anything in common? And reroll your missiles if you missed hit. Not to wound, just to hit. Moving on. Raven Wing Dark Talon. Now, if you watched my first video, and I really strongly suggest you do because it has all the formations in it, the Raven Wing Dark Talon and the Raven Wing Jet Fighter can be taken in a really cool formation that makes the Stasis Bomb a boss. So if you take that formation, the Stasis Bomb does not scatter, and when the enemy unit takes the initiative test, it has to roll it on 2d6 and take the highest result. Now, I don't know if statistically that means it's more likely to fail. Maybe it is. Maybe it just feels better. But that is really cool. So, same point cost, has Raven Wing, has Strafing Run. Other than that, pretty much the same. Oh, the Rift Cannon now has Vortex, Rift Vortex. So if when you roll to scatter, if you roll 2 doubles, it gains the Vortex special rule, which is essentially, I believe that's a Strength D barrage weapon. Not very reliable because, first of all, you don't want it to scatter, and if you do scatter, you roll double 6s and it flies off in the middle of nowhere, it's like, yay, now it has Vortex, but it's not hitting anything. So I don't know how often that will come into play, but it is pretty cool. So that brings us to the end of this video. I will be doing the HQs next time, and the reason why I didn't lead with the HQs is because there's a lot of little changes in all the HQs. So one of the big things is that it's now using the new Ultramarines Demi Company as like the standard formation, and the HQs no longer let you take Terminators as troops, but that's okay because you have an auxiliary unit that you can take with a ton of Terminators that you can just throw out there. So they've mixed up the rules a lot, and I really want to make sure that I get it right. So you will be seeing that in my next video tomorrow. I hope you enjoyed these first 2 review videos, and I will see you guys next time on the Cool Guys Nation.